Leo and Hannah rest under the old tree's shade. Leo, a whirlwind of youthful energy, practically vibrates with eagerness, ready to unleash his imaginative storytelling. Hannah, her eyes wide and full of innocent wonder, leans in, utterly captivated by the prospect of Leo's grand tale. A silent promise hangs in the air, the beginning of a story waiting to unfold between two unlikely friends. In the inky black, a voice cuts through the silence, promising a tale of epic proportions. A story begins, spun from the unseen. Hannah, want to hear an awesome story? The voice, belonging to Leo, carries the enthusiasm of a born storyteller. His words hint at a battle of courage and might. It's about a boy who faced a giant and won. The darkness holds its breath, waiting for the first glimpse of this legendary confrontation. Hannah, a young girl brimming with uncontainable excitement, bounces on the balls of her feet, her eyes sparkling with childlike wonder. Her face is alight with anticipation, every fiber of her being yearning for a fantastic tale. A giant? Really? She exclaims, her voice a melodious plea for the story to unfold. Tell me, she urges, her eager eyes reflecting the magical world about to be revealed. Under the vast sky of ancient Israel, two formidable armies, Israelites and Philistines, face each other across the hillsides. Tents dot the landscape, a silent testament to the impending clash. A heavy, foreboding tension hangs in the air, thick with the scent of dust and anticipation. The hills stand as silent witnesses, bracing for the storm of battle about to break. Under the vast sky of the valley, a figure emerges, casting a long shadow. Goliath, a giant clad in heavy bronze armor, strides confidently into the open space. Sunlight glints off his massive armor, reflecting his overwhelming presence. The earth trembles beneath his heavy footsteps as he advances. His booming voice echoes through the valley, a sound of challenge and dominance. The very air seems to vibrate with the force of his presence. Across the valley of Elah, two armies stand poised on opposing hills, the air thick with anticipation. Goliath, a giant, clad in gleaming bronze, strides forth, a figure of terrifying might against the morning Sunday. His challenge echoes through the valley, a thunderous declaration of war. Send out your warrior, Goliath's voice booms, shaking the very ground beneath the feet of the Israelites. I defy the armies of Israel this day. Give me a man, that we may fight together. Inside the Israelite camp, King Saul and his warriors cower, their faces masks of stark terror. The earth trembles beneath their feet as Goliath's thunderous voice reverberates across the battlefield. Each word from the giant is a crushing blow, shattering their resolve and magnifying their dread. Paralyzed by his overwhelming presence and the sheer audacity of his challenge, they stand frozen, hope seemingly lost. Across the sun-drenched hillsides, 40 days drift into memory, each marked by the shadow of a looming threat. Goliath's figure dominates the horizon, his armor glinting cruelly under the relentless Sunday. His voice, a thunderous wave of scorn, crashes against the courage of the Israelites. Each word is a calculated strike, aimed to shatter their faith and paralyze their resolve. The echoes of his challenge reverberate through the valleys, a daily torment that tests the limits of endurance. A mocking testament to the Israelites, and their God hangs heavy in the air, poisoning the very light of day. Under the bright sun, the Israelite camp buzzes with activity, a stark contrast to the heavy anxiety hanging in the air. Young David arrives, a shepherd boy with a sling casually draped over his shoulder, his steps full of youthful energy. He carries a basket laden with bread and cheese, the scent of fresh baking momentarily cutting through the camp's tension. David scans the faces of the Israelite soldiers, his brow furrowing as he witnesses the fear etched deeply into their expressions. Seasoned warriors, their eyes betraying an unease that belies their battle-hardened exteriors, capture David's attention. A puzzled expression dawns on David's face as he senses the palpable fear radiating from the very heart of the Israelite army. An unknown location buzzes with fearful whispers, the air thick with unease. Faces etched with terror reflect a shared dread. Amidst the fearful crowd, David stands resolute, his youthful face set with unwavering determination. His voice rings out, a beacon of defiance against the surrounding dread. "Why will no one step up to fight the giant?" David boldly declares, his conviction echoing through the fearful silence. "I'll do it myself, and God will help me defeat him." Under the scorching sun of the Israelite camp, Eliab, the eldest brother, unknowingly steps into a scene he was not meant to witness. His ears sharpen as he overhears a conversation, words that ignite a firestorm of anger within him. A storm gathers on Eliab's face, his features contorting with an uncontrollable fury. The color drains from his complexion, replaced by a flush of crimson that paints a vivid portrait of his rising rage. Dust devils dance across the parched earth of a forgotten place, where tension hangs heavy in the air. Two figures face off, their shadows stretching long in the harsh, unforgiving light. Eliab's stern gaze pierces the silence, his protective instincts rising to the surface. "What are you doing here? You're just a child," he booms, his voice echoing in the empty space. A desperate plea hangs in the air. "Go home before you get hurt." Inside King Saul's tent, sunlight streams through the flaps, casting a warm glow on the scene. Dust motes dance in the air, illuminated by the sun's rays, highlighting the tension in the tent. David stands tall, his youthful face set with determination as he faces the king. King Saul, a towering figure weighed down by heavy armor, listens intently to David. The weight of leadership and past battles is etched deeply into King Saul's face. A palpable sense of destiny hangs in the air as the young David confronts the burdened king. Inside King Saul's war tent, the air vibrates with tension as the king sits upon his rough-hewn throne, a fortress of armor and unease. David stands before him, a solitary figure amidst the armored giants, his youth a stark contrast to the seasoned warriors. Saul's voice booms through the tent, laced with doubt and disbelief. "You're just a boy." The king's challenge hangs heavy in the air. "How can you defeat a giant when my strongest men are afraid?" In a place unknown, David stands resolute, his gaze unwavering. His eyes reflect an inner fire, a blend of faith and unbreakable determination. He stands as a beacon of defiance, ready to confront the impossible. His voice resonates with conviction, each word a hammer blow against doubt. "The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear," he declares, his voice echoing with power, "will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine." Inside King Saul's tent, the air is thick with anticipation as he watches David, a hint of respect flickering in his gaze. Saul nods slowly, a silent decision solidifying in his mind. With a regal gesture, Saul indicates his own armor, a massive, gleaming testament to his power. The armor stands as a symbol of the challenge ahead, its polished surface reflecting the gravity of the moment. On the vast battlefield, David, a young shepherd, eyes the imposing armor of King Saul with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. The weight of the king's armor presses down on David, the metal cold against his skin, hindering his movements. He struggles, takes a step, and then falters, weighed down by the unaccustomed burden. With a determined look, David begins to unbuckle the straps, casting off the symbols of power and war. The heavy armor clatters to the ground, leaving David unburdened and ready to face his destiny. Sunlight dances on the rippling surface of the stream as David kneels, a solitary figure by the water's edge. His fingers trace the cool, wet stones, a deliberate search for nature's perfect pieces. He selects one, its smooth surface catching the light like a hidden gem. Another stone joins the first, carefully chosen for its unique shape and texture. 5 stones now rest in his palm, each holding a silent promise. A quiet determination settles on David's face as he prepares for the task ahead, the stream a silent witness to his purpose. On the vast, scarred battlefield, a lone figure emerges, sling in hand, a challenge in his stride. David walks towards the looming giant, his steps echoing with determination against the silent anticipation of the watching armies. The air crackles with tension as David advances, the weight of destiny settling upon his young shoulders, a stark contrast. The small figure of David against the backdrop of the monstrous Goliath, the embodiment of defiance. Each step David takes is a declaration of courage, a beacon of hope in the face of overwhelming odds. The battlefield holds its breath, awaiting the clash of David and Goliath, a moment poised to define history. Across the valley between the hills, a chilling echo resonates. Goliath's laughter booms, laced with a rage that seems to shake the very earth. His eyes, burning with fury, fixate on David, a storm gathering in his gaze. The valley holds its breath, anticipating the clash of titans. In an echoing, unknown location, the immense figure of Goliath stands defiant, a mountain of muscle and rage. His eyes blaze with fury, burning like twin infernos as he surveys the unseen opposition. Goliath's voice booms, shaking the very foundations of the place with its raw power. "Am I a dog, that you come to me with sticks?" he roars, his challenge echoing through the vast space. The threat hangs heavy in the air as Goliath vows, "Come to me, and I will give your flesh to the birds of the air and to the beasts of the earth." Under the blazing sun of the valley of Elah, a stark contrast unfolds. The youthful David stands resolute against the colossal Goliath. Goliath, a mountain of a warrior, encased in formidable armor, brandishes his sword and spear, his shadow looming large. David, seemingly vulnerable, is armed only with a simple sling and a handful of stones, his eyes fixed with unwavering courage. On the surrounding hills, the Israelite and Philistine armies bear witness, their breaths held in anticipation of the coming clash. David's voice rings out across the valley, a challenge to the giant. "You come to me with a sword and with a spear, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts." His defiant words echo with conviction. "This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand," a promise hanging heavy in the sun-drenched air. In the valley between the hills, David sprints with unwavering resolve toward the looming figure of Goliath. He expertly places a smooth stone into the leather pouch of his sling. With intense focus, David begins to whirl the sling, the speed increasing with each rotation. The wind whistles as the sling reaches maximum velocity, poised for release. In a decisive moment, David releases the stone, sending it hurtling through the air toward its target. In the valley, the stone hurtles through the air, a small projectile against a giant foe. The stone finds its mark, striking Goliath squarely in the forehead. Goliath's eyes widen in disbelief as shock reverberates through his massive frame. The giant freezes for a fleeting moment, a statue of stunned disbelief. Then, with a thunderous crash, Goliath collapses, his fall shaking the very ground. Panic sweeps through the Philistine army, their bravado shattered as they turn and flee in terror. In a sun-drenched meadow, Hannah's face is alight with wonder. Leo smiles warmly, his eyes reflecting the golden light. Hannah's voice rings out, filled with awe. "Wow, he really did it!" Her amazement deepens as she asks, "So even a little kid can be a hero with God's help?" Leo nods reassuringly, his words carrying the weight of faith. "Exactly, Hannah. It's not about being big or strong. It's about having courage and trusting God."